Hello, 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 family. All right, so here's the thing. I'm just gonna jump right into it because this is the first actual, I will say, episode, even though I don't know if that's what I want to call it or not. But however, story time with Ladie B, and I'm going to pose a question, and then I'm gonna tell you about my portion of said thing. So, right now, it's been on my heart to talk about church hurt. And in my life, church hurt was a divine intervention with God because literally I went through this process. I was a part of this ministry, which I will remain nameless. It's neither here or there now. But went through this process, went through this ministry, went through a lot behind the scenes, dealing with trying to find myself in the midst of it, serving the best way I knew how, serving wherever I felt like I could and would be allowed to. So some of you know I sing. So many of the times I would sing the praise team. I would join extracurricular activities, in ministry. I guess that could mean, oh, we have a play, so let's do the play. We need actors and actresses, if we have a step team, let me go make sure I can do this and make sure I learn how to do that. And, those types of things. So as we like to say, what had happened, right? Doing all these things in the ministry, doing all of the things that we know to do, and somehow feeling empty, feeling as though you give, and then for me, it felt like when I really needed the help, no one was to be found. And so just to get a little bit more into the story, let's just say this. So I was going through a tremendously terrible time. I mean, clutch my pearls, oh my God. It was going down, right? So my life was in a tailspin of a downward spiral. And in the meantime, I stepped away from the praise team because I felt like the life that I was living was not, it did not look like the life of someone who in my mind would be on the praise team. I felt like I was a fraud, even though being on the praise team doesn't carry an actual title or, oh, you're a minister of such and such or deacon or whatever. When you're on that stage, it is still a matter of, it carries a weight. I'll say it that way. It carries responsibility. And I didn't feel like I was living up to a person that would be able to carry that responsibility. So stepped away. And I stepped away because of the very thing that I needed help with. When I came back because during the time I was away, I realized I could not do it by myself. I realized I couldn't fix my life without God's help. I realized that there were a lot of things going on that I just couldn't get a hold of, and I couldn't explain it, but I needed help. So where did I go? I went to the church. It's the hospital for the spiritually ill, right? It's the hospital. It's where we can go to fix our ailments, and so to say, I needed prayer. I needed advice. I needed good counsel. I needed all of the above. And I didn't immediately ask for the help when I went back. I still kept, trying to, okay, let me go up and get some prayer. Okay, let me fix what I heard in service today. I know they were talking directly to me. The Lord is showing me something. Okay, this is something I can do now. Let me cut this off and let me stop that. So I was doing the things that I felt like God was showing me to do, but I still couldn't really find my way out. And so I tried to set up by this time things were, they were still really bad, but I went trying to get assistance because I was going through an additional portion of issue that I just really needed to figure out. Lord, help. I need help. And so with the emotional toll that everything was taking, the relationship that I was in was taking a toll, the financial situation I was in was taking a toll. Everything seemed to have come to a head at once. So that's what made the situation emergent to say, okay, I need help. And I can't sidestep it. I need the help. I tried to set an appointment to see my pastors. Either one of them. I didn't care which one. They were a co-pastor team at the time, and that process of trying to set that meeting with them to get counsel and to understand what do I do? Is there something I'm missing? Am I just dealing with the consequences of all of my choices and I just got to ride this out? Is there immediate help? My girls, what do I do? And it seemed like you would have thought I was a member of a mega church somewhere that had thousands upon thousands upon thousands of members, and that just simply wasn't the case. So it hurt when I was not able to move forward with the meeting. And it wasn't, I don't know what was happening behind the scenes, but, there were administrators in place. There were, deacons, deaconesses that were assisting the pastors that would, oh, well, what exactly is it that you need to see them about? Well, what about, are you sure you need to see them? And and the way it was coming back, and I'm thinking, is it them asking the question? Is it you doing the, proofing beforehand to make sure that it's, absolutely necessary, that maybe it's something that you all can help, but you all aren't offering the help. I'm telling you all that I can tell you. I need guidance. I need counsel. I need help. And I don't know what it is that they thought. I don't know if I was getting on their nerve. I don't know if it was bad timing. I'm not really sure what was happening behind the scenes during the physical portion of, them telling me all of these things and asking me all of these questions, but not really, the questions weren't leading anywhere. So what ended up happening is the very people that I was trying to escape and get away from, I said, that sounds like criminology. That sounds like I did something that I was, that's not the case. So let me get a little more serious. But I didn't do anything that I was running away from the cops or anything. But I was in a situation that I didn't need to be in. And I was in too deep. So as that situation came to a head, and I'm looking at my pastors like, can you guide me? Can you tell me what I'm missing? Can you tell me the right prayers to pray? Can you whatever? I don't know. But clearly I need someone outside of this situation to help show me the way. The people in place were not getting how detrimental it was that I needed help. Then at the same time, I ended up with an eviction notice that I didn't know how I was going to pay for. It wasn't public knowledge, so I can't imagine they thought I was going to ask them for financial help. I was a regular tither. I was a regular, I paid my offering. I did the things that I thought I was supposed to do. And I'm not saying that, no, we're not supposed to pay tithes or anything like that. That's another conversation. But the problem I was having is, why is it so difficult to get this meeting when I can talk to them just about any other time I want? But now there's guardrails. Like, what is happening? Needless to say, the very people I was trying to get away from, back to that part, they were the main people that came to my assistance. Now, I wasn't happy about it because, no, this is a big part of where the turmoil and the pain is coming from in my life. No, I didn't want you to help me. But that help ended up kind of pulling the wheels out from under me, pulling my footing away, because what progress I was making now, in too deep, just looks like I'm drowning. I felt like my church had let me down, because in the time that I needed them the most, I had been there for several years, and at a time that I needed them the most, that's when it felt like they had turned their backs on me. And I went back to church a couple of weeks after that, several weeks in a row after that. But my heart was so broken. And one of the pastors turned around and said to me, we were ending service. I was coming down off the stage from, being on the praise team, and I had stepped back into that. And the question was, hey, did you ever get that help you needed? And it was said with such innocence and such concern, but it took everything that I had in, oh God, I feel like I want to cry now, but feeling that and stepping back into that moment, I felt so heartbroken, because no, I didn't get the help that I needed, but I got help that sent me further into a situation that I was so desperately trying to get out of. I didn't say all of that at the moment. All I could muster up the nerve to say was, yeah, I got it. And I walked away before my face could do anything else. I walked away before the tears could fall. And I can't remember how many times I went back after that, but it wasn't very long at all. Maybe a week, maybe another Sunday. And I left, because I couldn't stand there serving in a ministry that would turn their backs on one of their members without even hearing them out, without a prayer, without a counsel, without any concern. It felt like they threw me to the wolves. And so in that process, I walked away from the church entirely. It wasn't just that ministry. I walked away from church, and I stayed away for quite a while. But I told God, I'm not leaving you. I want it to be just me and you. And the crazy thing about that is it took me actually leaving the church to find God for real. Now, I'm not saying that's everybody's path. I'm not saying that to say, the church is a problem, everybody's got to leave, you can't, no, don't read between the lines. I'm not sending some other message here. But I am saying that was my journey. It took me being hurt by the ministry that I was serving in for me to truly meet God. He took that moment and turned it into something beautiful. God took that moment, he took that season for me and turned it into the most beautiful relationship. I just could not have imagined what I was missing following religion. I should have titled this "Religion Almost Killed Me," like my boy T. Rudd, but I cannot express enough how searching for God on your own, not just following, and not reading for yourself, not fully having a prayer life for yourself. Yeah, I had one, but I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have any training. I was never discipled. I never had any of the things or anyone to fully show me how to do this thing called Christianity. Go figure, right? Anyway, I could not have guessed, and if someone who would have told me, oh yeah, once you leave, it'll be fine, you'll be great, it's going to be absolutely wonderful, you'll find God for yourself, I would not have believed them. Not at all. So that's what happened. I ended up finding God out in the streets, doing my own thing. And that's where God found me. That's where God picked me up from. Not while I was in the church. I feel like now that I know as much as I do, I feel like I was playing church. I was doing the best that I could back then. I was learning a lot. I was getting chains broken off of me. I was getting set free and delivered from so many things in my life. But that's how I actually found God for real. He sought me out in the midst of my bull crap, in the midst of me being tired, in the midst of me feeling hurt. But I never wanted to walk away from God. I was tired of the bull crap. I was tired of the make believe, the play pretend is what it felt like. Now, I'm not saying everybody was doing that. It's just, that's how I felt about it. That's all I can say. That's how I felt about it. And then later on, the Holy Spirit had to do some work on me. And through that healing journey, he actually revealed that I used the church hurt as a divine intervention, as the catalyst to get you to me for real, so that you can grow and find a real relationship with me. That's how he pulled me in. So for anybody else out there going through church hurt, all I can say is seek it for yourself. Seek God for yourself in a way that you've never done it before. And there's something about a real need that causes God to show up when you seek him for real. So anyway, that's my story. That's what the first installment of Storytime with Ladie B. I'll give you guys more snippets about how this thing came about throughout. But, I'll just say stay tuned. I'll be back with more Storytime with Ladie B. Thank y'all for listening.